You must be delusional. Listen to me. There is a kind of person this world cannot understand. Not because that person is loud. Not because that person is lucky. Not because that person has proof. But because that person has already decided. Before the money shows up. Before the body changes. Before the business works. Before the audience arrives. Before the world claps. Before anyone believes. They already know. They walk into the room like the result is already written. They speak with a certainty that makes normal people uncomfortable. They move like they are carrying evidence no one else can see. And because the world cannot see it yet, the world calls it delusion. They say, be realistic. They say, calm down. They say, who do you think you are? They say, you are getting ahead of yourself. They say, you have not done anything yet. And maybe they are right. Maybe you do not have the results yet. Maybe you do not have the money yet. Maybe you do not have the title yet. Maybe you do not have the body yet. Maybe you do not have the respect yet. Maybe you do not have the proof yet. But listen carefully. Proof is not where this starts. Identity is where this starts. The world wants you to wait until you become successful before you believe you are successful. The world wants you to wait until you are strong before you act strong. The world wants you to wait until you are chosen before you move like someone chosen. The world wants you to wait until reality gives you permission. But winners do not wait for permission from reality. They give reality instructions. They decide who they are. Then they behave like it long enough for the world to catch up. That is what they call delusion. But maybe it is not delusion. Maybe it is vision before evidence. Maybe it is faith before proof. Maybe it is discipline before recognition. Maybe it is the future speaking through you before everyone else can hear it. The difference between the man who changes his life and the man who stays the same is not talent. It is not luck. It is not comfort. It is not motivation. It is the image he carries of himself when nobody else believes in him. Because your life will always move toward the person you believe you are. If you believe you are weak, you will find proof. If you believe you are average, you will behave average. If you believe you are stuck, every road will look blocked. If you believe you are not worthy, you will sabotage every blessing that tries to reach you. But if you believe you are becoming dangerous, if you believe you are being built, if you believe you are already the kind of person who does what he says, then your body starts following. Your habits start changing. Your decisions start sharpening. Your voice starts lowering. Your standards start rising. Your tolerance for excuses starts dying. And the old version of you starts losing power. That is why you must be delusional. Not in a stupid way. Not in a lazy way. Not in a way where you sit around and wish. But in the disciplined way. The intentional way. The way that says, I am already becoming him. And because I am already becoming him, I will move like him today. Most people are waiting for proof before they change. They say, when I see results, I will believe. When I make money, I will act confident. When I get in shape, I will respect myself. When people support me, I will take myself seriously. When I win, I will start moving like a winner. That is why most people stay where they are. They are waiting for the outside world to give them an identity. But the outside world is slow. The outside world is late. The outside world is not watching your private war. It doesn't see the nights you sit alone, trying to figure yourself out. It does not see the silent decisions. It does not see the moment you almost quit, but did not. It does not see the small win, It does not see the little shift in your mind. So if you wait for the world to confirm you, you will wait too long. You must confirm yourself first. You must become the first witness. You must become the first believer. You must become the first person in the empty room, clapping for the version of you that has not arrived yet. That is not arrogance. That is survival. Because if you do not believe in the person you are becoming, the world will talk you out of him. Every normal conversation will pull you back. Every average opinion will shrink you. Every practical person will tell you to lower the target. Every jealous person will call your vision unrealistic. Every lazy person will call your discipline extreme. Every broken person will call your self-belief delusion. And if your identity is weak, you will believe them. You will start apologizing for the dream. You will start hiding your ambition. You will start speaking smaller so other people can feel safe around you. You will start betraying the person you said you wanted to become. Do not do that. Do not make yourself smaller to make average people comfortable. Do not bury the version of you that scares them. Do not keep your future in a cage because somebody else never found the courage to build theirs. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say it. Not for Instagram, not for applause, not for other people, for your own nervous system, for your own subconscious, for your own standard. Say it until your body stops laughing at you. Say it until your posture changes. Say it until your choices start matching it. Say it until your old habits feel like disrespect. Say it until comfort feels like betrayal. Say it until quitting feels impossible. I am disciplined. I am serious. I am built for this. I am not here to be normal. I do what I say. I finish what I start. I am the kind of person who figures it out. I am the kind of person who keeps going. I am the kind of person who becomes undeniable. And no, you may not believe it fully at first. That is normal. The old identity will fight back. The old identity will ask for proof. The old identity will say, "Who are you kidding?" But you do not answer the old identity with arguments. You answer it with behavior. You get up. You do the work. You keep the promise. You make the call. You train. You write. You build. You refuse the cheap pleasure. You stop explaining. You start stacking proof. And day by day, the delusion becomes evidence. There is a dangerous sentence that changes a man. It is already mine. Not in fantasy, not in entitlement, not in arrogance, in responsibility. Because if it is already yours, then you have to carry yourself differently. If the future is already yours, then you cannot keep acting like the old version. If the business is already yours, then you cannot keep wasting mornings like an amateur. If the body is already yours, then you cannot keep eating like a man who gave up. If the respect is already yours, then you cannot keep moving like someone begging to be noticed. If the life is already yours, then you cannot keep living like a visitor in your own story. You have to become compatible with what you are asking for. You say you want success, but can success trust you? You say you want more money, but can money trust your habits? You say you want influence, but can influence trust your character? You say you want a better life, but can that life trust the way you spend your night? This is the part people miss. Delusion without discipline is fantasy. Delusion with discipline is construction. It is not enough to imagine the future. You have to practice being the person who can survive it. You have to rehearse the walk, rehearse the standard, rehearse the restraint, rehearse the courage, rehearse the conversation, rehearse the pressure, rehearse the rejection, rehearse the version of you that does not fold when the world finally gives you the weight you prayed for. Because a weak man who receives a strong future will ruin it. A distracted man who receives opportunity will waste it. An undisciplined man who receives abundance will become arrogant and soft. So before life gives you more, it asks one question: are you becoming the kind of person who can handle it? And you answer that question every day, not with words, with behavior. How do you wake up? What do you do when nobody checks on you? What do you do when the urge hits? What do you do when the doubt gets loud? What do you do when the result is late? What do you do when your friends are relaxing? What do you do when the plan stops being exciting? What do you do when you are tired? That is where the future version of you is born. Not in your imagination only, in your repetition. You do not become him by hoping. You become him by rehearsing him. You act like him. You think like him. You choose like him. You recover like him. You refuse like him. You speak like him. You prepare like him. And eventually the act stops being an act. Eventually your nervous system believes it. Eventually your habits catch up. Eventually your confidence stops being pretend. Eventually your environment starts responding. Eventually people say, "You changed." And you smile because you know the truth. You did not change in one day. You practiced a new identity until the old one could not survive. Some people need to see before they believe. That is why they are always late. They wait until the business is profitable. They wait until the body is obvious. They wait until the crowd is there. They wait until the name is known. Then they believe. But by then, belief is easy. Belief after proof is not special. Anybody can believe when the result is already on the table. Anybody can clap when the scoreboard is finished. Anybody can say, "I knew it," after the world has already confirmed it. But the person who wins is the person who believed when it looked stupid. The person who wins is the person who believed in the ugly stage, the broke stage, the lonely stage, the nothing is happening stage, the stage where the only evidence is a feeling inside your chest that refuses to die. That is the stage that separates people. Because before the world sees it, you must know it. You must know with a strange certainty. You must know with no applause. You must know with no guarantee. You must know when the numbers are small. You must know when nobody is watching. You must know when your own mind tries to betray you. You must know when reality still looks opposite to your dream. That is what self-belief is. Not positive thinking on a good day. Not confidence when life is easy. Not smiling when everything works. Self-belief is standing in a life that doesn't look like the future you asked for, and still saying, "This isn't where I end. This is not who I am forever. This is not the final version. This is not the whole story. This is the construction site. This is the training ground. This is the part before they understand." People may call that delusional. Let them. Let them call it delusion while you wake up early. Let them call it delusion while you study. Let them call it delusion while you build. Let them call it delusion while you train. Let them call it delusion while you disappear. Let them call it delusion while you stack the boring proof that makes the impossible look obvious later. Everybody wants the result after it becomes beautiful, but almost nobody wants the belief while it still looks embarrassing. You must believe in the embarrassing stage. You must believe in the rough draft. You must believe when your first attempt is ugly. You must believe when your voice shakes. You must believe when the product is bad. You must believe when the channel is small. You must believe when the room is empty. You must believe when the world has no reason to believe, because that is when belief is actually worth something. Your mind is not neutral. Every day, something is programming you. Your past is programming you. Your environment is programming you. Your phone is programming you. Your friends are programming you. Your failures are programming you. Your parents' fears are programming you. Your childhood labels are programming you. Your private self-talk is programming you. And if you do not take control of the programming, you will live inside a story you did not choose. You will wake up and call it personality. But it is not your personality. It is repetition. You say, I am not confident. No. You have practiced self-doubt. You say, I am lazy. No. You have practiced avoiding discomfort. You say, I am bad with money. No. You have practiced reacting instead of leading. You say, I always fail. No. You have practiced remembering the fall more than the lesson. You say, oh, geez, I am just not that kind of person. Maybe not yet, but you can practice becoming that kind of person. That is the secret. Identity is not just found. Identity is trained. Your mind will believe what you repeat with emotion and action. So stop repeating weakness. Stop repeating lack. Stop repeating fear. Stop repeating the story that keeps you small. Stop saying, I cannot, like it is truth. Stop speaking about your future like it already rejected you. Stop using your past as evidence against your destiny. If your words are commands, be careful what you command. If your thoughts are seeds, be careful what you water. If your imagination is a workshop, stop building nightmares in it. Most people use their imagination against themselves. They imagine rejection. They imagine failure. They imagine embarrassment. They imagine being laughed at. They imagine losing everything. They imagine the pain of trying. But they never imagine the cost of staying the same. They never imagine the regret. They never imagine waking up years later and realizing the dream did not leave them. They left the dream. Do not use your imagination to scare yourself out of your future. Use it to rehearse your future. See yourself walking into the room with control. See yourself finishing the work. See yourself staying calm under pressure. See yourself saying no to the old weakness. See yourself winning the private battle. See yourself becoming someone your family can trust. See yourself as the man who keeps his word. See yourself as the person who is already moving differently. And then when the day begins, act accordingly. That is how the mind changes. Not by one emotional speech, by repeated mental rehearsal, by repeated action, by repeated proof, by repeated refusal to identify with the old version. You do not think once and become new. You think, speak, act, repeat, suffer, correct, and continue until the new self becomes normal. The future version of you is not waiting in the future. He is waiting in your next decision. Let me make something clear. This is not an excuse to sit around and pretend. This is not about saying affirmations while your habits rot. This is not about visualizing success and then sleeping through your alarm. This is not about telling people you are chosen while refusing to work. That is not delusion. That is self-deception. And self-deception destroys men. Real delusion, the kind that changes your life, comes with a price. You believe you are him, so you work like him. You believe it is already yours, so you prepare like someone who has to protect it. You believe you cannot fail, so you stop looking for escape routes. You believe the future is coming, so you build a life that can hold it. This is where most people expose themselves. They like the feeling of the dream. They do not like the responsibility of the dream. They like saying, "I am going to make it." They do not like waking up and doing the boring work again. They like imagining the stage. They do not like practicing in silence. They like talking about destiny. They do not like obeying discipline, so they call it manifestation. But there is no manifestation without movement. There is no belief without behavior. There is no identity without evidence. You do not get to say you are serious and then keep living casually. You do not get to say you are becoming great and then keep negotiating with laziness. You do not get to say you are chosen and then keep choosing comfort. The world does not need to believe your words. Your habits need to believe them. Your calendar needs to believe them. Your bank account needs to believe them. Your body needs to believe them. Your nights need to believe them. Your sacrifices need to believe them. Your repetition needs to believe them. Because if your mouth says future, but your actions say comfort, comfort wins. If your mouth says champion, but your habits say amateur, amateur wins. If your mouth says discipline, but your environment says distraction, distraction wins. The truth is brutal. You do not become what you claim. You become what you repeatedly prove. So yes, be delusional, but be disciplined enough to make the delusion afraid of becoming false. Be so consistent that doubt gets tired. Be so relentless that the old story stops finding evidence. Be so serious that even your fear starts respecting you. Tonight, stand in front of the mirror. No phone, no music, no performance. Just you. Look at your own face and ask yourself, who am I becoming? Not what do I want, not what do I wish, not what do I post. Who am I becoming? Because the mirror does not care about your excuses. The mirror knows. It knows when you are lying. It knows when you are pretending. It knows when you keep promising yourself change and then choosing the same life. It knows when you are scared. It knows when you are wasting time. It knows when you are capable of more. It knows when the person you keep talking about is not being built. And that is why most people avoid the mirror, not the physical mirror, the internal one, the quiet place where there is no audience. Because in that silence, you can feel the gap between who you say you are and how you live. The gap between the future you describe and the choices you make. The gap between the man you admire and the man you keep allowing yourself to be. Close that gap. That is your job. Not to impress people. Not to explain yourself. Not to win arguments. Close the gap. If you say you are disciplined, close the gap. If you say you are serious, close the gap. If you say you are building something, close the gap. If you say you are done being average, close the gap. Every day is a vote. Every action is a statement. Every excuse is a confession. Every promise kept is a brick. Every promise broken is a crack. You are either building the identity or breaking it. There is no neutral. So when you look in the mirror, do not beg yourself for confidence. Give yourself evidence. Tell yourself, I do what I say. Then prove it before the day ends. Tell yourself, I am not the old version anymore. Then refuse the old pattern when it knocks. Tell yourself, I am becoming undeniable. Then do something undeniable in private. That is how you build belief that does not shake. Not by lying to yourself, by training yourself to trust yourself. Be realistic. That is what they will tell you. But most of the time, realistic is not wisdom. It is fear dressed in clean clothes. It sounds mature. It sounds practical. It sounds responsible. But underneath, it is often just a scared voice trying to protect you from disappointment. It says, do not aim too high. It says, do not say it out loud. It says do not risk being laughed at. It says do not expect too much. It says stay where you are. And because it sounds safe, people obey it. Then years pass, and the safe life becomes a quiet prison. The realistic dream becomes a small life. The practical choice becomes buried resentment. The normal path becomes silent regret. And one day they look at the person who dared to believe and say, he got lucky. No, he got delusional first. He believed first. He moved first. He endured first. He looked crazy first. He took the emotional risk of being misunderstood first. And because he was willing to look foolish before the result, he earned a life that makes sense after the result. That is the price. You cannot become exceptional while protecting your image like a fragile object. You cannot become great and also make sure everyone understands every step. You cannot build something rare while asking average people to approve the blueprint. You cannot become the future version of yourself while staying loyal to the current room. At some point, you must choose, be understood, or become, be accepted, or build, be realistic, or be alive. The life you want will cost you the comfort of being normal. It will cost you the approval of people who never wanted much. It will cost you the old way you speak, the old way you think, the old way you spend time, the old way you excuse yourself, the old way you wait. But what is the alternative? To sit there, to shrink, to call your fear maturity, to call your lack of courage wisdom, to live a life that never demanded the full version of you. No, not for you. You are not here to be realistic about a life you secretly hate. You are here to become so committed to the future that the present has no choice but to reorganize around it. Act as if, but earn it. Move like the person you are becoming, but do the work that gives your movement weight. Speak like you are chosen, but live like someone who respects the assignment. Believe like the future is yours, but sweat like you still have to build it brick by brick. That is the balance. Too many people believe without work. Too many people work without belief. You need both. Belief gives you the target. Work gives you the proof. Belief gives you courage. Work gives you credibility. Belief gives you identity. Work gives you evidence. Belief starts the fire. Work keeps it burning. And when belief and work meet each other, something dangerous happens. You stop asking, does can I? You start asking, what is required? You stop asking, will it work? You start asking, what must I become for it to work? You stop asking, do people believe in me? You start asking, did I behave today like a man who believes in himself? That question will change everything. Not did you feel confident, not did you feel motivated, not did the world support you. Did you behave today like a man who believes in himself? Did you make the hard decision? Did you keep the promise? Did you protect your focus? Did you speak with intention? Did you practice the future self? Did you deny the old self? Did you act like the result is already on the way? If yes, then you are not pretending. You are training. You are not lying. You are becoming. Every future begins invisible. Before the business exists, someone sees it. Before the body changes, someone sees it. Before the channel grows, someone sees it. Before the family is protected, someone sees it. Before the book is written, someone sees it. Before the life is rebuilt, someone sees it. That is why vision matters. Vision is not decoration. Vision is direction. Without vision, every distraction looks reasonable. Without vision, every excuse sounds intelligent. Without vision, every obstacle feels like a sign to stop. Without vision, Every critic sounds correct. But when you can see where you are going, you can survive the road. You can survive the slow beginning. You can survive the loneliness. You can survive the embarrassment. You can survive being misunderstood. You can survive the nights where nothing moves. Because you are not working for what you see now. You are working for what you have already seen inside. And if you see it clearly enough, you will start making decisions from that place. You will stop asking, "What do I feel like doing?" You will ask, "What does the future require?" You will stop asking, "What is easy?" You will ask, "What builds me?" You will stop asking, "What will they think?" You will ask, "What will I respect myself for?" That is the shift. That is when delusion becomes discipline. That is when belief becomes behavior. That is when identity becomes reality. That is when the man you imagined starts walking through your actual life. And the world will act surprised. They will say it happened suddenly. They will say you changed overnight. They will say you got lucky. They will say they always knew. Let them talk. They did not see the private programming. They did not see the mental rehearsal. They did not see the days you forced yourself to believe again. They did not see the mornings you acted confident before confidence arrived. They did not see the nights you walked through doubt with no one beside you. They did not see the repetitions that turned the imaginary man into the actual man. They only saw the result. You lived the transformation. So here is the question. Is it really delusion if it makes you move? Is it really delusion if it makes you disciplined? Is it really delusion if it makes you keep promises? Is it really delusion if it pulls you out of the old life? Is it really delusion if it makes you become the man you were too scared to be? Maybe the real delusion is believing you are stuck forever. Maybe the real delusion is thinking your past has more authority than your future. Maybe the real delusion is calling yourself average when there is still fire inside you. Maybe the real delusion is letting the world convince you that the version of you in your mind is impossible. Because look at what people call realistic. A job they hate. A body they neglect. A dream they buried. A relationship with their own mind that is full of fear. A life where they never fully tried. And they call that realistic? No. That is not realism. That is surrender. You are allowed to believe differently. You are allowed to see yourself differently. You are allowed to decide that the next version of you is already under construction. You are allowed to move before anyone understands. You are allowed to sound crazy in the beginning, because every person who ever changed their life had to believe in a version of themselves that did not exist yet. That is the bridge. Belief is the bridge. Action is the road. Discipline is the price. Time is the test. And if you keep walking, the thing they call delusion becomes your normal life. Do not wait until Monday. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until you have proof. Do not wait until everyone agrees. Do not wait until your fear disappears. Become the person now, right now, this night, this decision, this breath. Ask yourself, how would the future version of me act tonight? Would he scroll for 2 hours? Would he eat like that? Would he skip the work? Would he break the promise? Would he talk down to himself? Would he keep delaying the same thing? Would he let one bad day become his identity? No. Then stop acting like the old version is still in charge. The person you are becoming is not coming to rescue you. You become him by obeying him. You become him when you let his standards run your life. You become him when you make his decisions before you feel like him. That is the key. You will not always feel like the future version. You act like him first, then the feeling follows. You will not always feel confident. You speak and move from the standard first, then confidence follows. You will not always feel worthy. You honor yourself first, then worthiness follows. You will not always feel powerful. You keep your promises first, then power follows. Do not wait for the feeling. Train the identity. Speak the vision. Move the body. Do the work. Protect the mind. Repeat the standard. And one day, without asking permission, you will realize something. The version you used to call delusional is now simply who you are. You do not have to convince yourself the same way anymore. You live it. You breathe it. You choose it automatically. You no longer ask if it is possible. You ask what is next. And that is when the world changes. Not because reality magically bent for you, but because you became the kind of person reality has to answer. So tonight, decide. Not vaguely. Not softly. Not someday. Decide. Decide who you are. Decide what you are building. Decide what story you are done repeating. Decide what future you are willing to look crazy for. Then act like it is already yours. Work like you are behind. Believe like you are chosen. Move like it is done. And when the world calls you delusional, let it. Because they are only saying that. Because they cannot see what you see yet. Be delusional, but be disciplined. Be unrealistic, but be relentless. Believe it is yours. Then become the person who can hold it. The world will catch up.